Happy Monday, 5th graders. So I'm going to do my best to stay around 5 minutes in the video. It's important that you watch the whole video. So anyway, we're going to do 4.3 today. And so I want to talk about the word terms and coefficients to start out with. And then we're going to talk about some other stuff. So if we look at this number sentence right here, we have two terms. We have the term of 1 and we have the term of 3n. They're different because 1 has a letter by it and 1 doesn't, or a variable on 1 and 1 doesn't. We could also look at another situation of 4 plus all of this 3n minus 1. This is also two terms, even though this term over here is more fancy. And basically what happens is in this term, there is a factor of n minus 1 that's multiplied by 3. Still two terms. Now, the word coefficient is a little different. It's the number that you multiply any variable by. So in this case, 3 is our coefficient. If we wrote 5x, 5 would be a coefficient. All right, if we write 17y, 17 is the coefficient. So it's just remember that the number that you multiply the variable by. Now, in your book, there's this. A times b plus c equals ab plus ac. This is the distributive property. And over the next year, you're going to hear a ton about this property. And basically, it says that if you have A, and it shows the picture of what's happening in a rectangle here. If you have A multiplied by B and C, it's the same thing as putting that B plus C in the parentheses, because really you have that whole rectangle that you're adding up. Or you could say it's the same as A times B plus A times C, or the two parts, the blue part and the orange part. And so it can be written like that, AB plus AC. Now, if you were to talk about what they call that, you've got this thing here. A and B plus C is in factored form. So this one right here is factored form. That means that they put the factors together. If they expand it, A times B plus A times C, that is the expanded form, which is right over here, expanded. We're going to talk a lot about that coming up. Now, over your work last week, we talked about other ways of showing things. So we could distribute things like 5x plus 6x by saying, well, x is multiplied by both of those things, really. So we could say x times 5 plus 6, and we know that we could simplify that even more, which would be x times 11, or 11x. But this is showing you the distributive property. Also, if we have a bunch of n's together and we want to add 1 together, well, we know some of those are like terms, they're the same kind of terms. So we have n plus n plus n is 3 n's, and then we have that 1. Now, we can't combine the 1 with the 3n because they're different kinds of terms. So we have to keep them separated. All right. Oops, I didn't want that. All right, so I'm going to stop there for a moment and come back with a video explaining the problem.